Welcome to What Remains of Edith Finch. This is about a girl who's trying to figure out why she's the only person alive in like her whole family tree. Crazy, right? Let's hop right into it.
A lot of this isn't going to make sense to you, and I'm sorry about that. I'm just going to start at the beginning with the house.
All right, into it, huh? It's beautiful scenery.
I lived here until I was 11, but I wasn't allowed inside half the rooms.
She wasn't allowed inside half the rooms. Orcas Island Gazette.
Inside the mailbox were bills from 7 years ago, marked urgent, open immediately.
Final notice, past due.
I hadn't been back since my brother Lewis's funeral. In her will, my mother left me a key, but didn't tell me what it unlocked. Maybe she thought I'd know. Or she thought that the mystery would be enough to bring me back.
The Finches.
No one had driven this way in a long time, but I saw a few hoof prints.
Oh, hello there. I'm just taking the scenery in, by the way. I feel like I'm on like a beautiful walk in real life.
The truth is, even after I inherited the house, I never thought I'd come back to it. But now I had questions about my family that only the house knew the answers to.
See, they got the hoop court out here. Okay. That's what I'm talking about. We need a new net. Your boy wanna, you feel me? Get. Pop's old school still here.
The house was exactly like I remembered it, the way I'd been dreaming about it.
That is huge. It's like a Hello Neighbor house.
As a child, the house made me uncomfortable in a way I couldn't put into words. Now, as a 17-year-old, I knew exactly what those words were. I was afraid of the house.
I can see why. Damn.
I hoped the key might unlock the front door. It didn't.
Uh-oh.
Looking in, I felt like the house itself had been waiting for me.
Are we sure we want to go in here? That looks like a missing poster. Definitely is, all around here. Milton Finch. I take it this is my brother. Shall we try the garage? Or maybe even around the side of the house? Ah, how convenient.
Crawling through the doggy door used to be a lot easier when I was 11. The power had been turned off the night we left. For the first time in years,
January 2010.
I felt like I was home.
Somebody had it cracking in here. Bottles everywhere. What y'all sipping on? Zinfandel blend? Okay. Pass your boy a little sunshine.
But instead of a family, there were just memories of one.
So there I am, Edith, the youngest, of course. ED. Louis, Dawn. In love and memory, Louis Finch. December 27, 1988 to November 21st, 2010. Oh, wait. Died recently. Son of Don, grandson of Edie.
Like how after Louis started working at the cannery, we all got sick of eating salmon. Except our cat, Molly. Or how only one restaurant would deliver to our house. So we had Chinese a lot.
Hey, I ain't tripping with the orange chicken. Trying to see if it's as old as it is, I'm trying to see if some orange chicken in there, shoot.
Nothing in the house looked abnormal. There was just too much of it. Like a smile with too many teeth.
Yeah, it's given hoarders, but clean, which kind of doesn't make sense. What is this? Why is that locked up like that?
A lot of things got left behind in the whirlwind of that last night.
The whirlwind of that last night.
My mom wasn't much of an optimist, but she never stopped believing that my brother Milton was alive.
We're gonna figure out what happened to Milton. Barbara.
Great-Grandpa Sven built a music box for Barbara, along with the rest of the house.
Why does that sound like this is so beautiful? I see Bigfoot back there.
Mom always told me to stay out of the basement, so I wasn't too surprised when the key didn't fit.
I wonder why.
Even the fireplace had a story. Edie told me the bricks came from the original house, after it sank.
The original house sank, okay. But the bricks survived. That's actually really cool. So much books, I'm getting like creeped out. Sheesh. Scary. Like,
The table was still a wreck from the night we left. My mom was the only one of us who could imagine Great-Grandma Edie living in a nursing home.
So grandma was in a nursing home, or is still in a nursing home. Shall we head upstairs? I kind of want to use grandma's seat, but that'd be a little rude, right?
After Milton disappeared, Mom sealed up all the bedrooms. Then Edie retaliated and drilled peepholes.
Well, let's try to look through the peepholes. So now we know why the doors are reinforced like this. Mom did it. Calvin.
My Grandpa Sam spent 7 years sharing a room with his dead brother, Calvin.
1950 to 1961. So Calvin was just 11. Gregory.
As a kid, I just assumed every house had peepholes and sealed rooms you weren't allowed inside of.
Kind of uppity bathroom, huh? Got the pink everywhere. Gregory, 1976 to 1977. Swen, Edie. Swen Hofstadt Finch, 1915 to 1964, and Edie is 1917 to 2010.
The last time I was in Edith Sr.'s room, I was 10 and she was painting my portrait.
Ooh.
I spent a lot of time playing in Great Uncle Walter's room. I think my mom sometimes regretted not sealing it up.
This is cool. Beautiful.
Lewis told me there were secret passages, but I never believed him.
"20,000 Leagues Under the Sea."
Turns out, my mom was really good at keeping secrets.
Ah.
Now it was time to find out what my mom had been afraid of.
What are you afraid of, Mom?
From the paintings on the wall, it was clear my brother Milton had been here before me. Reading this, maybe it sounds like I had a plan. But I had no idea what was behind that door. Just like I had no idea where all this was gonna lead.
Molly.
I grew up looking at Molly's room through the peephole. Being inside for the first time, I felt like I'd stepped behind a painting.
Her room is cracking, I ain't gonna even lie. Seems like Molly was maybe one of the favorites around here. I mean, she's got it going on in here.
I got the sense Edie had spent a lot of time here before my mom sealed the doors.
Molly was 10 years old, 1937 to 1947. Molly Finch.
December 13th, 1947. Dear Diary, I'll be gone soon, but I wanted to tell somebody about what's gonna happen. It started when Mom sent me to bed without dinner. I woke up and I was starving, so I looked around for something to eat.
Oh, we're playing as Molly. Ah. The gerbil food.
The gerbil food was dry, but I didn't mind it.
Gerbil.
My Halloween candy was all gone. Mom, can I come out now?
Sweetheart, it's late. Go to sleep.
I kept eating and eating.
I feel like I know where this is going. She's eating everything. She's starving.
I ate a lot of things that night.
Obviously, a lot of things she shouldn't eat.
Then I heard chirping outside my window. It was a barn swallow going back to her nest. I reached out for her. And suddenly, I was a cat.
Huh? Really?
I tried to be quiet, but the bird was really scared. Mom and Dad didn't even look at me.
Trying to figure out where to go here. There we go. It's like the bird. It's like the bird is pointing. Go this way. I love that little wing.
The babies were all gone.
I'm following you. Don't worry.
I jumped and I almost got her. I could tell she was getting really tired. Now I was up in the big tree. I promised Dad I wouldn't climb it anymore. All I cared about was eating that mama bird.
Hungry.
I gobbled her up. And suddenly, I was an owl. First, all I heard was the wind. Then I heard little teeth nibbling in the grass.
This took a twist, right? I'm actually flying as an owl. That's
Rabbits.
amazing. Rabbits. I want to get one. Oh, my landing sucked. There we go. Come on. I'm nice with it, huh?
I imagined his face looking up and seeing mine through my talons. I swallowed him up, and I didn't chew one bit. Then I flew off to find something bigger.
Something bigger, huh? It's kind of like she becomes whatever she imagines at that time.
A mama rabbit.
A mama rabbit.
She was almost too big to carry. I started choking, but I couldn't stop eating. And suddenly, I was a shark.
Trying to flop my way down. I'm a shark now.
I rolled off a cliff and into the ocean. Now, I was hungrier than ever.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Controlling this big old thing. Uh-oh, we got something.
I
Yeah.
wanted fat, juicy seals.
Seals.
I tore off her flipper, and it tasted really good.
Come on. Come on. We about to tear this up.
I grabbed on tight. But I was so hungry, I jumped out of the water. When I opened my eyes, everything had changed.
What am I now? An octopus?
Now I was a monster, and I smelled people everywhere.
So I done turned into a monster.
I was big, but I moved real quiet.
Don't tell me we about to eat him. Oh, wow.
I wanted to stop, but also I didn't.
What shall we do with the drunken sailor?
Passenger, I was still hungry. And to cross the water, I smelled something new. Something I had to have. So I swam towards it.
She's still hungry?
I slithered onto the sand, and the good smell went into an old pipe.
This better not be my parents' room.
Closer.
Molly. All my stomachs.
All my stomach started growling. And suddenly, I was me again. I held my breath for a long time, but I couldn't hear anything. I think it's waiting for me to fall asleep. But it's not going to wait much longer. It needs to be, and we both know I will be delicious.
Delicious.
I'm not sure if I believed all of that, but I'm sure Edie would have.
So that's what happened to Molly. That was crazy.
This will be obvious later, but my mom never told me any of these stories. Edie would have, but Mom didn't like bringing up the past. Though, when we adopted a stray kitten, she was the one who named it Molly. I spent a lot of time in Great-Grandma Edie's room.
Oh, I thought this was my parents' room. This is Great-Grandma Edie's room. She was probably being visited by my father at that time when we looked in earlier.
Her room was like a museum. For 500 years, the Finches have been famous throughout Norway for their fortune and misfortune. Odin Finch buries the latest victims of the family curse, his wife Ingeborg and their newborn son, Johan.
You guys see the family curse. Odin Finch. All right.
On January 7th, 1937, he set sail with his family and his house, hoping to leave the curse behind.
He set sail with his house, too. Okay, play. I like that.
But 40-foot waves off the coast of Washington send the house and Odin to the bottom of the sea. Odin's daughter Edie, with husband Sven and baby Molly, step ashore on their new home, Orcas Island. Odin Finch is the first to be buried in the new family cemetery.
Family cemetery.
His daughter Edie is already dreaming of a new Finch house. Whatever's wrong with this family, it goes back a long ways.
Gotcha. Yep. We're gonna figure it out. Built 1937. Sven Finch.
One summer, they evacuated the island, but Edie refused to go. For a few weeks, she was a celebrity.
72-year-old woman refuses to evacuate because of a little forest fire. Edie won't go.
I hadn't thought of myself as Edith Jr. for a long, long time.
Edith Jr. Lake Trip. Conspiracy Now. Home Movies. Random Junk.
Edie gave a big interview about a mole man living under the Finch house. My mom was furious.
Mole Man. Under the house. That's beautiful.
When Edie told people Sven was killed by a dragon, she could also have said he was building a dragon-shaped slide that collapsed. She could have, but she didn't. Even in her 90s, sometimes Edie seemed a lot younger than my mother.
So it looks like Mom was visiting Edie, not Dad. Got it.
The only trace Grandpa Sam's first wife, Kay, left on the house was the pink bathroom.
Pink bathroom cracking. I ain't gonna even lie.
It was a pretty big trace.
This player, y'all. Okay, this is a little player. The pink? Stop playing. There's a secret in this bathroom. By Swin and Edith Finch.
There's a secret in this bathroom. It's in the last place you would look. It isn't in the cupboard. It's hidden in this book.
Calvin Finch.
Sven gave Sam an old camera he'd refurbished. He never put it down.
Murder probe. Clues exhausted. Couple turns island into a native haven. Milton. See some alcohol here. Fort Calvin.
I knew Grandpa Sam had a twin, and that he never talked about him.
Oh, this goes up? That's cool. With the bridge right there. Command
I guess
Center.
my grandpa didn't like history any more than my mom did.
How I Want to Remember My Brother by Sam Finch. The thing I remember is that when he made up his mind, that was it.
Oh, we're playing
My
as...
brother said he'd die before he ate another mushroom. And he did.
This is so cool.
At Barbara's funeral, we swore we'd never be afraid again. And he wasn't. I think Calvin always wanted to fly.
Sam! Calvin! Dinner's ready! Coming!
But that day, he finally made up his mind to do it. I told him going around was impossible. Maybe if I hadn't said that,
I know where this is headed.
I'm not gonna tell you again!
maybe if the wind hadn't picked up, then maybe he'd still be here. But I doubt it.
I mean, as kids, we always wanted to do this on the
He already
swings.
made up his mind. That's what I want to remember about my brother. The day he made up his mind to fly. And he did.
Calvin's story felt strangely familiar. When I was younger, I remember trying to do the exact same thing.
Me too. I think all of us, like, who didn't want to fly when we were younger? I get it. Trust me. I still kind of want to fly sometimes. I see the candles right here. It's pretty sad. This is where they come and visit Calvin.
After the funeral, Edie roped off Calvin's half of the room.
I'm starting to see why these doors are all shut like this. And you can only peek in through the peephole. United States Marine Corps, Sam Finch.
Mom said Grandpa Sam enlisted at 18 and never set foot in the room again.
Understandably so.
The passages were a pretty tight fit. They'd obviously been built for smaller hands and bellies.
See more wine here? I understand, trust me. When you deal with death so much, you kind of want to find an escape, even though it's not the best escape. I get it.
Edie's father, Odin, built the original house. Whenever people ask me about my family, the first thing they always want to know about is Barbara.
Barbara Finch. Looks like she was a young actress.
Mom must have locked the third floor stairs on the night we left.
Milton.
Growing up, I always thought of Barbara as a child star. Of all the stories people wrote about Barbara's death, I'm surprised Edie saved this one.
The surprise ending of Barbara Finch.
Jack here with another ghastly tale inspired by America's most unfortunate family. I'm calling it The Surprise Ending of Barbara Finch. As a child star, Barbara was famous for her scream. Now at 16, she was all washed up, a has-been. But in a lucky break, she'd been asked to perform her signature scream at a local convention for monster movie fans. It was just the boost her career needed. Unfortunately, her scream hadn't aged well.
Getting better. I think you just need the right motivation.
Her biggest fan and current boyfriend, Rick, was about to demonstrate when...
Now that was a great scream.
It was Barbara's father, Sven. He'd slipped into a table saw and had to be rushed to the emergency room. So Barbara got stuck babysitting her youngest brother, Walter. Her convention comeback was cancelled.
Okay, I'm hearing frustration, but I'm not hearing terror. What if I tried...
A gang of hoodlums in Halloween masks have been terrorizing Orcas Island tonight. Police are urging residents to...
That came from the basement.
You're right! Also, I loved your delivery on that. Why is your basement door locked?
because my dad likes making puzzles and secret passages. There's a key hidden in the music box. The secret is to keep winding and winding until finally the key pops out.
Thanks, babe. I'll be back in a sec.
20 minutes later, Rick hadn't returned. So Barbara went to look for him, right on cue. She reached for the music box. And as she wound the key, she listened for Rick, but the house was silent. She found Rick's crutch and imagined the worst.
The gang's leader is the infamous Hookman killer, Dr. Carl Hamill, who impaled and then ate his family 10 years ago tonight.
Your fridge rattled and grew still.
Boyfriend's body, huh? Oh!
Dear. Rick?
Barb, relax. I was just trying to scare you to help you find your scream.
Well, I'm not scared, Rick. I'm furious.
Then act furious. All I'm getting from you now is that you're hurt and confused and...
She threw him out, but she kept a little something to remember him by.
Barb, have you seen my other crutch?
And she was still holding it when she fell asleep watching the late picture show. Hours later...
Barbara! Walter, what's going on up there? Ah! Okay, I'm coming up, but if this is a trick, you're dead, Walter.
I'm scared. Stop playing. What the?
Are you there? Walter vanished, but his bedside radio was still on.
Orcas Island police describe the man as 6 feet tall, with a steel hook for a hand. Residents are urged to lock all doors and windows and notify the police of any suspicious activity.
Barbara turned, saw the hookman, and was speechless.
Hit him with the
He
crutch.
was quite smashing.
Okay.
He couldn't get enough of Barbara.
Okay, Barbara, there's gotta be another way out of here.
She played her part beautifully.
Okay, where we going?
She thought about abandoning Walter, but just couldn't do it. Molly's door hadn't been opened in years. The hinges groaned.
Can I hit him? Yeah.
Wasn't moving, but she sensed the story might not be over yet.
She sure walking slow. I would have ran down there and whooped his ass.
The hookman had vanished. She listened for his breathing, but all she heard was... the door, she heard whispering. It was coming from inside the house.
Oh dear.
Really? Really?
I come to surprise her. Barbara, it was a dream come true.
I was not expecting
She
that.
saw what kind of monsters they were, and she realized what was about to happen. She was going to be famous. And with her final breath, Barbara Finch gave the performance of her life.
That scream.
I wasn't there myself, but I hear Barbara was magnificent. Poor girl. She had a taste for stardom. But unfortunately, so did her fans. Of course, the police blamed it all on poor Rick, who disappeared the same night. And little Walter? Hiding under his bed the whole time. He took it all pretty hard.
Little scary ass.
That's another story. As for Barbara, tucked inside the music box is all they ever found of her. Her ear. Now that's what I call a real eerie tale.
I like that.
Edie told me all Barbara wanted was to be remembered, as absurd as that comic was. Maybe what Edie saw was a happy ending.
She's definitely remembered. Wow. Barbara had the worst death so far. Sheesh.
I guess now I know why Mom didn't like me playing with the music box.
Yep, we about to get that key. Man, it's dark. Y'all ready?
Mom said the basement was off limits, unless I wanted another tetanus shot. I saw Edie sneak down to the basement once, carrying packages. I thought maybe she was hiding presents. It turned out she was hiding a lot more than that. I remember asking Mom once about where Walter had gone. She said after Barbara died, he got as far away as he could. If there's a pattern in all these stories, I think it's that none of us has gotten very far.
Goodbye, everyone. I can't believe I've been down here for 30 years.
30 years?
On that first day, after the shaking started, I didn't think I'd survive a week. But after a few days, I settled into a routine. That's what kept me sane. Having a schedule, living for today. I always expected to be dead tomorrow. But if you wait long enough, you get used to anything.
January
Monster, and the other
1970.
side of the door starts to feel normal.
Even a monster on the other side of the door. I was gonna say January 1976. I'm looking at the calendar to the left.
Almost friendly. And then one day, everything just stopped.
March 2005.
Whatever
Look at
that
my-
thing was, it was gone.
Look at my arms.
Maybe it got tired of waiting. Or maybe I just got tired of being afraid.
We had enough down here to last 30 years, fam. That's impressive.
It's been a week now, the longest in 30 years. I'm done waiting. I
Finally.
have to leave. Well, I still can. I know it's out there somewhere. Whatever killed Barbara and Molly and Calvin. Maybe this is all a mistake. But I need to stop living the same day, even if it kills me. Whatever's out there, I want you to know I'm ready for it. I'm going to appreciate all of it, especially the food. I don't mind if I only have a year left, or a month, or a single week. I'd be happy with one more day. I can already imagine the sun on my face.
Hit by a train? After getting out, it was so beautiful looking.
Walter died when I was 6. I can't
Oh,
believe my mom never told me he was down here. I'm sure my mom was trying to protect me.
was that like a fake picture? Yeah, that's an actual picture frame. Okay. All right. I mean, at least it gives us hope, right? Or gave Walter hope.
Maybe she was afraid I'd end up like Walter. But if she never told me about an uncle under the house, I can only imagine what else she was hiding. I don't want to make the same mistakes she made. Trying to bury something that's still alive. Now that there's only one of us left, or maybe 2, I thought it was time I heard the stories for myself and found out what happened to everyone else. But now I'm worried the stories themselves might be the problem. Maybe we believed so much in a family curse, we made it real.
They put a train right here after he got hit by a train for remembrance. That's kind of crazy.
I don't know if I should even be writing this. Maybe it'd be better if all this just died with me. But I thought you should know about your family. And the history you're a part of.
I'm seeing that red. It's kind of glowing back and forth there. I know that's significant.
Though, to be honest, I feel as lost as you probably do right now.
Yeah, I'm pretty lost. I'm trying to figure it out. I want to know what that is over there blinking.
I think the people in these stories believed them, for what that's worth. And when you look at the house, that history of imagination and stubbornness and madness, any of it seems possible. I think we've been surrounded by death for so long, we've just gotten used to it. What kind of family finishes building a cemetery before starting the house? It's embarrassing for me to admit this, but...
I'm so drawn in.
The pet cemetery made me more uncomfortable than the human one. 3 of the gerbils are mine, and 2 had been my fault. Sven built the house, but it was Edie who designed the cemetery.
Molly Finch, Calvin, Sven, Edie, Walter, Barbara.
I'm sure Odin's monument had been Edie's idea. My mom was always trying to move on, but for Edie, the past never went away. She could see it poking out of the water at low tide.
That's the house, huh? The original.
Edie said she dreamed about the old house every night. Edie's side was always easier for me to understand. But the older I get, the more I can see where my mom was coming from. She lost 2 of her brothers, just like I did. I get why she tried so hard to protect us. There's so many things I wish I could ask my mom now. Part of me thinks this is what she wanted all along. For me to come back someday and find everything out for myself. But looking back on it now, if she told me there was going to be so much climbing, I never would have come when I was 22 weeks pregnant.
22 weeks pregnant. Wow.
I never met Grandpa Sam, but I think he and my mom had a lot in common. They were both pretty intense.
Grandpa Sam.
Dawn, I promise, you'll never forget this weekend.
Yes, sir.
These memories are gonna last a lifetime.
Hmm? Am I gonna have to shoot anything?
It's a hunting trip, Dawn. Shooting is strongly encouraged.
Shouldn't we be leaving?
Just want to get a shot of you, Dawn, then we can take off. Not quite.
There we go.
Perfect.
It's gonna rain the whole weekend, isn't it? Please just take the damn picture.
Hey, language.
Did you want to get a picture of me or what?
Where are you at? Oh.
I will never forget this weekend, Dad.
That's the spirit. Okay, got it.
I'm gonna take some pictures, okay?
Just be careful. The camera's older than you are.
Beautiful.
Aw. You're right, Dad. It's starting to clear up. Still freezing, though.
Definitely should not have drunk all that coffee.
Hold still while I take a picture of you.
I definitely won't be moving.
Are you...
Hey!
That's a keeper.
I'm just saying, I'm not always gonna be here, Dawn. You'll need to remember this stuff, if you want to survive.
I'll be fine, Dad.
You know who else thought he was gonna be fine?
Some guy who died.
Dawn, I'm being serious.
I know, Dad. You're always serious. Doesn't being out here make you want to chill out?
Well, to tell you the truth, I haven't been out here in 20 years.
I'm taking pictures of everything.
Dad!
Beautiful.
Nice, Dawn. Before you take the shot, let me get a picture of you.
Dad, I...
Just breathe. Let me get behind you.
Do I have to do this?
Dawn, you don't have to do anything. Great shot, Dawn! I'm proud of you, Dawn. Always remember that, okay?
Oh, we gotta hurry up and get in there for the picture. How do I get up there? Right here? Maybe we wrap around. There we go.
Dad, it's twitching. I think
That's
it's...
totally normal, Dawn. Just focus on the camera. Try not to think about...
Oh! Oh, wow. And it actually took a picture because it was on the timer. And that's what happened
Of all these stories,
to Sam.
that's the one I wish most that my mom had told me.
Wow. Sam was cool.
Sam spent his life shooting photos, but Mom said he got nervous being in front of the camera. I guess we're all afraid of something. After Sam died, my mom and Edie got really close. They'd both lost a lot.
Gregory. Only 1 year old. Divorce contract.
Dear Kay, do you remember the way Gregory used to laugh when he thought he was alone? Like something funny was happening, but only he could see it. I think he saw things the rest of us don't.
Woo!
Time's over, Gregory. It's time to... Hold on, sweetie.
Don't tell me I'm gonna drown in here. Please.
I told you I don't want to talk right now.
I wonder what he saw. His world was like.
Just a little baby. This is so cool.
It reminded me so much of him. Lost in his imagination.
Definitely lost in my imagination right now. I'm having fun doing this. Look at the whale up there, the eyes.
It sure made him happy.
Woo! Oh. Oh.
I know how silly it sounds. But I worried about a baby being too heavy. See him slipping away.
Sorry about that, Gregory.
I know you did everything you could. Maybe if I hadn't called that night.
And we're gonna turn the water back on, huh?
Well, I don't want to.
I wish he could have told us about the world he saw. There's so much I don't understand about Gregory, about everything. I know what happened wasn't my fault. I'm sure it's heavy. You want me to be happy too. Good luck, Kay.
Wow.
Sam.
Gregory was just having fun. Innocent baby, man. Wow, that just sucks. Edie, Gus, Milton, Lewis. And I think we have Dawn left as well. Dawn, Gus.
I can't imagine my mom ever writing poetry, and yet...
A poem for Gus.
A poem for Gus, who always said the wedding was a bad idea. Our father never hit us kids, at least not very hard, before the day my brother said with teenage disregard that he'd be dead before he'd see a wedding in our yard.
This is so cool flying this.
My father made him come, of course, but Gus stood far apart, just flew his kite and bottled up the storm inside his heart. I tried to talk him out of it, but though he'd never met her, we don't need a stepmom, were the words that I
now pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss the bride.
Oh, there's the wedding. Okay, got it. That makes sense.
When the time for photos came, Dad ordered him to come here. But Gus declined and as a sign held up his middle finger.
Dang, Gus. Savage with it.
The wind picked up and panicked geese appeared and quickly went. But all the humans did that day was go inside the tent. The rain came down in buckets then, but no one seemed afraid that nature might destroy the tent our dad had crudely made. Thunder sounded much too close and full of angry power. But all my father said to this was, "Make the music louder." I wish that I could truly say I thought about you on that day. Out there on the beach alone, just you, the wind, the sea, and foam. But I didn't. Until we found you.
She never talked about him, but Mom told me once if I was a boy, they were going to name me Gus.
Wow. Didn't want a stepmother. What about Dawn? No mattress, no sheets, anything. Duties: Dawn, sweep trash. Gus, mop, mow yard. Greg, be a baby.
My mom moved up to the loft after her brothers died. At the time, it was as far away as she could get.
Here we go. Here's Dawn.
Religion was another thing my mom never talked about, but I think it helped her a lot after her dad died. She spent a summer building houses in Calcutta, where she met my dad, Sanjay.
Fly to India, Dawn Finch.
My mom moved to India a week after graduation and got a job teaching English. Lewis was born a year later. When my dad died, I don't think Mom knew where else to go. I'm sure Edie was happy to have her back.
Milton, Edith, Lewis, Dawn.
The house had to get a little bigger, but Edie was used to that. And for a while, things were good. Almost normal.
Cool little classroom here. I hear some crying.
But it didn't last. The beginning of the end was Milton's 10th birthday, when Edie gave him a castle. After Milton disappeared, the only thing he left behind was a room full of paintings.
We're really getting a understanding of why this house just keeps getting bigger and bigger. Lewis.
Everyone always told me to stay out of Lewis's room, except Lewis.
Legalize.
Lewis's room smelled very, very familiar. That part of him lived on.
Lewis is up here getting high. Locker contents. Lewis Finch.
Dear Mrs. Finch, as Lewis's psychiatrist, I can understand your desire for an explanation. As I see it, the trouble began in January, shortly after we convinced your son to seek treatment for substance abuse. Newly sober, I believe Lewis first noticed the monotony of his daily life. He kept working at the cannery, but he withdrew part of himself. In our sessions, I saw the same behavior. His mind began to wander. I asked him to describe it. He said he started small, imagining a labyrinth. He'd feel his way about. Then something moved. Bats. And toads. And things that have not names.
Ooh.
He knew it was all in his head. But he took it very seriously. I had hoped he'd find himself. But he found something more. I worried about him then. Daydreaming at the cannery. I spoke with his boss. But he said Lewis had become a model employee. Methodical, tireless, focused. Like a whole new Lewis. So I let him go on. I even encouraged him. It seemed very promising at first. He told me he'd made a new friend. On the edge of a city he named Lewis Topia. He built the city up slowly, brick by brick. Then he made musicians.
Mind you, I think this is still all in his head.
And songs for them to play. He talked about starting a band. And he was always humming something. Every day his imagination grew stronger. He no longer spoke at the cannery. But his chopping was as reliable as ever. Then one day it struck him that all the cheering crowds, even the stones under his feet, were all in his imagination, so he could do whatever he wished. He held an election for mayor, and he won. They begged him to stay, but his mind was already wandering. It became a game for him.
Mind you, going through that maze, I was controlling
Conquer a
Lewis,
city, then immediately push on.
and I'm controlling the boat here, or the ship.
New Louisville.
While
St. Louis.
working on these fish.
He started drifting away from our reality. Minneapolis. Until one day he forgot to go home from the cannery.
So these are the thoughts he was having, or dreams he was
Even
having,
as his mother pleaded with him,
as he was working.
part of Lewis kept sailing on. In Lewisburg, he heard rumors of a
Beautiful prince, handsome queen.
beautiful prince. The prince was on his own quest for
Sinister serpents.
sinister serpents. He followed the sound of his
Silver harp.
silver harp.
Oh, I missed a note. Missed a few.
His chase led him to a golden palace east of the sun and west of the moon. Even then, his logic remained sound. He knew the world was all in his imagination. But he was so proud of having created it. In his own eyes, he'd become something greater than a king. For someone who'd never known success in the real world, I think it was overwhelming. And then it struck him that the real Lewis was not the one chopping salmon, but the one climbing the steps of a golden palace. My imagination is as real as my body, he told me. It was hard to argue with him.
He had quite an imagination, my goodness. Bruh, like an emperor now.
He began to forget the world we know. I think it pained him to remember Lewis, the cannery worker.
Yeah, he thinks that the cannery place now is the kingdom, is his kingdom in his mind.
He began to despise the man with a royal contempt. I still thought I could save him. Even after he said he was being crowned king over all the lands of wonder. The palace would be packed with his companions.
What's poppin'? Appreciate y'all, appreciate y'all. Yes, sir, y'all see me. Hey, what's up, big fella? Yes, sir.
Wise Caliban had insisted on advising him.
Look at Molly. Hey, Molly. Y'all got it cracking for your boy. Love, love. Why, thank you.
His prince waited, holding his crown.
He got my crown? Hold on.
One thing left to do.
Go ahead and LeBron your boy. Crown your boy.
Bend down his head.
No, this is that thing. That machine, the
I think you know.
guillotine, right?
Mrs. Finch, your son was a kind man who will be missed by all of us who knew him.
Wow. He was just out of it.
My brother was really cool. I wish you could have met him.
I swear Lewis's imagination was fire though, y'all. Like that whole scene was sick.
On the way back from Lewis's funeral, my mom told me to start packing. She waited until the day before we left to tell Edie. I'm not sure if she wanted to make it easier or harder. I wish we'd stayed, but I understand why we left. My mom ended up leaving everything behind. What happened that night had been coming for a long time. Maybe I should have come sooner.
Edith.
But it had to end one way or another. All that's left now is to tell you about that last night.
The last night, my last night.
That whole last day, Edie just watched us pack and didn't say a word. Until supper, when she raised her glass and said,
"To our final night together, and all our final nights apart."
Grandma, you know what I said about alcohol. Some of your medications are very
Edith,
specific.
I left a present for you in the hallway. Why don't you go open it? The grown-ups have to argue now.
I'm sorry, you're right. We're all leaving tomorrow. Let's just enjoy our last...
I'm not leaving.
Edith, you're excused.
The power had been shut off that morning, but Edie always had plenty of candles. When my mom sealed the library, I don't think she knew about the other entrance. Or that Edie had a key to it.
That thing you're afraid of isn't going to end when you leave the house. Edith has a right to know these stories.
My children are dead because of your stories. I think it's best if Edith and I leave tonight. We'll have the nursing home send a van for you in the morning, okay?
History of the Finches by Edith Finch.
Dear Edith, there's so many stories I wish I could tell you, but there's only time for one. This is about what happened on the night you were born. That night, the tide went way, way out. It was the first and last time I ever saw the old house aground. There'd been an earthquake out in the middle of the ocean. They called it the lowest tide in 1,000 years. God, it smelled awful. You know, I've seen that house every day of my life. But I never thought I'd go back to it. When the fog rolled in, I lost my way. I got turned around. I started seeing things. Things I'd forgotten had ever existed. But when I saw them, they felt like old friends. That night, a lot of things came back to me. Or maybe I came back to them. Things I can't explain, but that I need you to try and...
Edith, what are you doing in here?
It's mine.
Edith!
Mom, you're gonna rip it! Let go! I kicked and screamed, but Mom dragged me to the car. I never saw Great-Grandma Edie again. The next morning, the van came to pick her up, but she was already gone. After that, we moved around a lot. We both tried to make the best of it. A few years went by. My mom didn't like to talk about it.
I used to love blowing these little things as a kid.
But she started getting sick a lot. The rest happened pretty quickly. She got better for a while, and then she didn't. And then I was alone. The last Finch left alive. Until I found out about you.
Oh, the baby.
I'm still not sure what to tell you about all this. If we lived forever, maybe we'd have time to understand things. But as it is, I think the best we can do is try to open our eyes. and appreciate how strange and brief all of this is. This journal was supposed to be for you. But now I hope you'll never see it. I just want to meet you and tell you all these stories myself. But I guess if you're reading this now, things didn't work out that way. This is where your story begins. I'm sorry I won't be there to see it. It's a lot to ask, but I don't want you to be sad that I'm gone. I want you to be amazed that any of us ever had a chance to be here at all. Good luck.
A story by Giant Sparrow. Wow. For Shirley Dallas, 1948 to 2013. It just lets us know how a house could hold so many secrets. And in the beginning, the very beginning, who was holding the book was actually her son. I thought it was Edith holding the book, but it was her son. Wow, that was amazing. Probably one of the best interactive games I've ever played. Had a beautiful story, crazy. I mean, we gotta be honest, that was one crazy ass house. Like, let's be honest. But to be able to play as the characters and to see what they went through before they ultimately died, that was pretty amazing. I've never played a game like that. This game came out years ago, so I'm not sure if a number 2 would come out or would be coming out with her son's story, but that would be pretty interesting. But I don't think that's gonna happen. Let me know you guys' thoughts and theories on this game in a comment below. If you enjoyed, all I ask is that you guys smash that thumbs up button, subscribe for more, click that post notification bell. That way you guys are notified every time your boy GWK uploads. I love y'all from the bottom of my heart. And this house is not the only house that's hiding secrets. So is yours. See you next time.